Hello there, I'm Clifford Bates, and welcome once again to Reading Thucydides Peloponnesian War. Today we're going to be today's going to be a very short one because we're dealing with chapters 81 through 83, which deal with the 15th year. And for some reason, it's not much going on. The Argives just left at the end of the 14th year. The Argives kind of switched sides. The Argives were doing neutral. Then during the peace, they kind of joined with Athens. Now the Argives have ended up now joining with Sparta, um, and Athens had to kind of it's kind of changed the situation. Um, After now, so let's look at the again. We use the Crawley translation of Landmark Thucydides. The Google Books is the things. We're now turning to chapter 81 of this. Um, After the defections of Argos from the League, the Mettians, in other words, this 81 enters the last things, right? They held out first for the Argives, and then they too came in terms. Spartan. Sparta gave up the rule over the cities, gave up their rule of the cities. The Spartans and Argives, each 1,000 strong, now took the field together, and they first went to Sithica and made the government there more oligarchical than before, and then united in putting down the democracy at Argos, and then set up oligarchy in favor of Sparta. Right? This is what we ended the last chapter in 81. Um, the next summer, the people of Dimon at Aetos revolted from the Athenians and to the Chaldeans, and the Spartans settled the affairs. And the Spartans settled affairs in Achaea in a way more agreeable to the interest of their country. Meanwhile, the popular party at Argos, little by little gathering their strength and courage, waited for the moment of the Genopedic festival at Sparta, and then fell upon the oligarchs. After a fight in the city, victory declared for the popular party, slew some of their opponents and banished others. The Spartans, for a long while, disregarded the messages from their friends at Argos, as they postponed the Genopede and marched to their assistance, but learning at Phrygia of the defeat of the oligarchs, refused to go any further in spite of their entries for those who had escaped and returned home to celebrate a festival. Later on, the envoys arrived with the message from the Argives in the cities and from the exile. When the allies were also at Sparta, after much had been said about both sides, the Spartans decided that the party in the city had done wrong and resolved to march against Argos, but kept delaying and putting the matter. Meanwhile, the popular party at Argos, in fear of the Spartans, began to court the Athenian alliance, which they were convinced would be the greatest service to them, and accordingly proceeded to build a long walls to the sea, in order that in case of a blockade by land, with the help of the Athenians, they might have an advantage in importing what they needed. Some of the cities in the Peloponnese were also privy to building of these walls, and the Argives, with all their people and women and slaves not exempted, applied themselves to the work, while carpenters and masons came to them from Athens. Summer was now over. The following winter, Spartans, hearing of the walls that were being built, marched against Argos and their allies, except the Corinthians, under the command of their king Aegeus and a son of Amadeus. They had intelligence of affairs of the city itself, but this intelligence, which they counted upon, came to nothing. However, they took and razed the walls which were being built, and after capturing the Argive city Hestea and killing all the freedmen that fell into hands, went back and dispersed every man to a city. After this, the Argives marched into Pallene and plundered and it for harboring their exiles, most of whom had settled there, and returned home. The same winter, the Athenians blockaded the Macedonians in retaliation for their alliance by Perdiccas with the Argives and the Spartans, and also because of his breach of his engagements on the occasions of the expedition prepared by Athens against the Chaldeans in the Thracian region, against Anthropos. and under the command of Nicias, son of Nicotritus, which they had abandoned mainly because of his desertion. He was therefore proclaimed an enemy, and thus the winter ended, and the 50th year of the war ended with it. 15th year of the war ended with it. So therefore, what happened? Okay, what came in by treachery, fled by treachery. Argos flips. Argos flips. This is again the popular party waited for the Spartans to have their festival, and the Spartans would be busy. They had a revolution. They slaughtered the oligarchs and exiled others. The exiles tried to convince them to go do it. So, and though the Spartans come and take a couple, one of the Argive cities, Argos is like this. So, and then what happens is in the winter, what happens is the Athenians blockade the Macedonians, Macedonia, retaliation because of Picardus, his betrayal of them, and declared him an enemy. And that ends the 14th year. It's a short year. So you're going to be saying, oh my God, this is a short one. Why are you doing this? Because, we're doing this because I think it's useful to get to the thing. Next time we meet, we will be doing the 16th year as one thing as well, simply because of the winter is kind of short. Um, I hope you all have a good day, but if you have any comments or questions, put them on below. If you have any wishes of what you want to do, again, put them below. Follow. You can subscribe on social media. Subscribe to get more updates. You can follow me on social media below. And if you wish to help the channel out grow and to do something, you can, there's means by Patreon or something. Subscribe start below. I'm not expecting much. Okay, that's it. Have a good day.